In the vast theater of the galaxy, power had always been a loud and violent play. When a border was challenged, fleets gathered. When pride was wounded, planets burned. Every civilization, from the ancient empires to the youngest upstarts, understood this brutal language of escalation. Bigger fleets, louder threats, weapons designed to be seen from orbit. This was the currency of dominance. Everyone understood it, except humans. Humanity's first galactic conflict was so minor, it was almost forgotten. A simple trade route dispute. A shipping lane was redirected without their permission, and a regional authority issued an automated fine, expecting defiance, as they always did. Instead, the humans replied with a request for clarification. Then a spreadsheet, then an alternative proposal that actually saved both sides resources. The authority, confused but satisfied, accepted the proposal and updated their files. Species, human. Conflict response, passive. Threat level, low. This became the pattern. When humans were blocked, they didn't push. They rerouted. When tariffs were raised, they found different markets. When access was restricted, they developed substitutes. When denied entry to a system, they simply built partnerships around it. No protests, no ultimatums. Just quiet, relentless adjustments. The rest of the galaxy saw this as weakness. They mistook flexibility for surrender. The mighty Verex Imperium was the first to learn this lesson. They controlled crucial hyperspace choke points, a source of immense wealth and power. When humans requested transit access, the Verex demanded tribute. The humans agreed. They paid the fees, followed the rules, and then they started investing elsewhere. They mapped new, smaller routes. They optimized minor jump gates. They offered logistical support to independent stations. Nothing illegal, nothing aggressive, just alternatives. Within 10 cycles, Verex toll revenues had plummeted by 40%. No war had been declared. No treaty violated. The Imperium blamed market fluctuations. The humans said nothing. They just kept adapting. You see, other species escalated their conflicts. Humans escalated their thinking. They asked questions no one else did. What systems does this empire rely on? Where is their redundancy missing? What assumptions have they never tested? They didn't target armies. They targeted dependencies. When threatened, humans negotiated. But they negotiated from a position of deep understanding. They studied cultures, taboos, and historical traumas. Their diplomats weren't trained to win arguments. They were trained to uncover motivations. Because once you understand why someone needs power, you understand just how fragile that power truly is. The Karth Dominion mistook this for cowardice. When humans objected to their invasion of a neighboring system, the Dominion generals laughed. No fleets, they scoffed. No threats. The humans requested talks. The Karth declined. So, the humans stopped calling. They didn't mobilize. They didn't sanction. They simply adjusted. Koth's suppliers found their contracts quietly redirected. Fuel markets shifted. Critical software support licenses expired and were not renewed. Each change was small, defensible, and individually insignificant. But collectively, it was devastating. When cornered, humans don't lash out. They redesign the board. Other species see conflict as a line of advance or retreat. Humans see it as a system. Change one rule, and the entire game shifts. They introduced new standards that favored cooperation, protocols that punished rigidity. Adaptability was rewarded, and dominance became expensive. Empires that couldn't adjust began to strain under their own weight. The galaxy noticed far too late. By the time the Karth declared war, humans had already made war unnecessary. Their fleets mobilized to find empty shipping lanes and allies who were suddenly unavailable. Their logistics faltered. Their command networks lagged. They had prepared for resistance, but they had not prepared for irrelevance. At an emergency Concord session, a delegate demanded, "How did this happen?" There were no battle reports, no invasion footage, no smoking debris fields, only data, trade graphs, supply chain maps, and alliance networks, all subtly read. Humans were everywhere in the margins, never central, never dominant, but always present. The human ambassador stood calmly. "We didn't attack anyone," she said. "You dismantled an empire," another delegate accused. She simply nodded. "Yes. You think in terms of escalation because your histories reward it? You believe power must be displayed." She gestured to the data streams. "We believe power must be sustainable." On a planet where escalation led to extinction, humans had learned that cooperation determined survival. Adaptability mattered more than strength. They had lost wars, lost nations, lost entire ways of life. And they learned. The galaxy asked why humans never escalated. The answer was simple. Escalation locks you into predictable behavior. Adaptation keeps all your options open. A new classification was proposed. Species, human. Primary capability. Systemic adaptation. Conflict style. Environmental control. Threat assessment. Contests. Context dependent, but a quiet note added by an analyst carried the most weight. Humans are not dangerous because they seek conflict. They are dangerous because they remove the need for it. Now, when humans speak, others listen, not because of fear or fleets, but because everyone understands one truth. If humans are still negotiating, it means the system can still be fixed. If they go quiet, the board is already being redesigned. Humans don't escalate. They adapt, and by the time you realize what's changed, the game is already over. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content like this. See you next time.